Okay, so next servo. Now the next servo is going to be the one here for the, that was the middle finger. We'll do the one for the index finger. And that one pretty much comes straight down the back. But I like to kind of bias it to one side. You can see servo horn there, kind of back and to one side. And that just kind of gets it closer to the square hole we got to pass it through. And again, piece of tape. Actually, made that a little short. Piece of tape to hold that wire where I want it. Now, if you're taping the wires on the back of the screw, if you're taping the wires on the back of the servo, you can go ahead and still manage to get these in without, with the wire pre-taped. It's just the one that goes on the side is the one you have a hard time with. Pre-taping. So in, kind of have to rock it up and push it down in. And we're going to go ahead and fish. Now this servo wire that just came through passes through the same hole as the middle finger servo wire did. So things get a little tight. You just got to work it. It goes down through there, and then we have to feed it over towards our center square hole. So basically what we're doing here, in the end, you want all 6 servo wires to pass out that center square hole on the bottom of the hand, so that they can either be routed for a hand kit wherever you want, or if you're doing an arm kit, they get routed through the wrist pivot point. So we've got those 2 servos in. Let me hold that for a second so you can kind of get an idea of what I'm doing. That one will go there. Okay. Now what we do is same thing for this one. When we do the ring finger, I tend to bias it to the same direction that we biased the index finger. And basically this is just based on where we're going to pass, because these 2 wires now, they go here and here, will pass through this square hole and then back through the middle. So we're going to put it on there a little bit biased to one side. And lay a piece of tape over it. Pass it in. And pull it down. Okay, we're getting there. Alright, we've got 4 of the 5 that have got to get in there. And then this final one for the pinky. Now this one I bias to the other side because this is going that direction in order to get to the hole. Sometimes it's easier to just fish that wire before the servo ever even goes in. That one just kind of wanted to go where it was going to go, so I'll leave it. Again, just kind of looking at your wires, looking at the path they take, making sure they're laying down nicely so that we don't have any troubles. Okay. All right, so the final thing we have to do, which becomes kind of a bear, but you just kind of have to work with it, is we need to pass the thumb wire down underneath this center palm servo before we fix the servo in, but the thumb is just flopping around over here. So what we can do, let me think about that. Actually what we'll do is we will go ahead and secure these two outer servos. Let's secure those two servos in, then we can put the thumb back on and run its wire, and then we'll work on the center 3 servos, locking those down. Those are the ones that have got to stay floating until we get everything put into place. So we're going to start, and we're going to go ahead and secure the two outer fingers. So you're going to take one of your 256 screws, and this is where our patience comes in, because these little guys can be a bear. And you're just going to run your 256 screw. Now you got to kind of drive it through the servo because the hole in the servo is a little small. So you just kind of start running it through there. And then you're going to run it up till it's just about flush with the wood on this side. And then we take a 256 nut from our pile, and we just kind of want to work it in there. And what I like to do is just kind of line it up over the hole. And then I'm going to try this. I'm going to take my larger Allen wrench that doesn't fit that and use it to kind of hold that nut in place until I bring this screw in. And again, this is where your patience comes in. This can get tricky to get all these screws in, but you just kind of work with it. Find what works for you. That's not working very well for me. Maybe a pair of needle nose. There we go. I actually just let it sit there, and because it's a tight fit, I was able to get the screw to start into it. Okay, so that one started. And what I like to do is get the screws in before tightening it all the way down. Get each screw in and get the nut on and get everything snug, and then you can tighten it down so you're not fighting yourself by tightening things too early. Bring it up flush. Now these ones are a little easier because you can actually get your finger in there. So again, I bring the screw flush to the wood, put the nut over top the hole, and then just drive the screw up through into the nut. And just holding your finger on the nut will hold it in place while it comes in. Okay, so I've got those on. So again, I like to just use my finger. I put my finger on the nut and kind of snug everything down. We're not building the space shuttle here. We're just snugly holding things in place. We can always come back and tighten things later. I prefer to not over tighten things because you end up just cracking and breaking stuff. So just getting everything snugged up nicely. Okay. Alright, one servo in. So that was the index. We'll jump over and do the pinky now. And if you're getting the hang of what we're doing here, obviously you can fast forward on to another part where we're doing something that you need a little help with, but this will take a few minutes to put these screws in. I'll probably speed up the video so you don't have to sit and watch me fumble these. Okay, that one back in there can be a bit of a bear. It's down in that little slot and it's a tight fit, so just work with it. Okay, so we've secured our two outer servos. So what I'll do now is we're going to go ahead and reinstall the thumb wishbone here. Okay, a little more tension on this inside screw. Again, you want things to be able to rotate nicely but not wobble. You don't want a lot of slop in these screws. There we go. See, rotates nice but no real slop to it. Okay.